The T-72 tank is a machine that's hard to mistake. Its low profile, thick armor, and powerful gun made it a true symbol of the Soviet era. It was developed in response to the challenges of the Cold War, designed not just to be powerful, but also mass-producible, reliable, and versatile. Since the early 1970s, the T-72 has taken part in dozens of armed conflicts around the world. It has rolled through the deserts of the Middle East, the hills of Yugoslavia, the sands of Africa, and the steppes of Ukraine. It was feared, respected, copied, and constantly upgraded. This is the story of more than just a combat vehicle. It's the story of an idea, of engineering, of armies, and of an era when this tank became something greater than just a weapon. The T-72 is a living legend of armored warfare. History and development. The history of one of the most recognizable tanks in the world, the T-72, began in the 1960s, during the period of Soviet military expansion under Leonid Brezhnev. It was a time when the USSR sought to strengthen its military presence across the globe, and armored forces played a key role in this strategy. It was during this era that the idea emerged to create a new main battle tank, not only technologically advanced but also suitable for mass production. The T-72 was a direct response to the challenges surrounding another Soviet tank, the T-64. While the T-64 was an advanced machine, its production was extremely expensive and technically complicated. Faced with the need for large-scale deployment, the military required a simpler yet equally effective combat vehicle. The solution was the T-72. The first prototype of the future tank was designated Object 172. It underwent a series of tests before being refined and modified into Object 172M, the vehicle we now know as the T-72. Serial production was launched at several factories, including the Eurovagonzavod in Nizhny Tagil, which later became the main producer, and the Malyshev factory in Kharkiv. From the early 1970s, the T-72 began to enter service with the Soviet Army en masse, and was soon exported to dozens of countries. It became the best-selling main battle tank of its time, of the second and third generations. According to estimates, around 30,000 T-72s were produced in total. Its global presence is impressive. Tanks of this model have served, and continue to serve. In many countries, the T-72 not only remains in active service but has undergone deep modernization to maintain combat relevance. Interestingly, despite the massive production numbers, today the Russian army has only about 13 operational T-72s in active service, with another 4,000 to 6,000 held in storage. This clearly shows how military priorities have shifted, and how even legendary machines gradually make way for newer technology. Nevertheless, the significance of the T-72 is hard to overstate. It became a symbol of an entire era, a time when armored divisions were seen as the cornerstone of global geopolitics. Its simple design, high survivability, relatively low cost, and powerful armament made the T-72 a true workhorse for dozens of armies around the world. Design and its features. The T-72 tank was officially adopted by the Red Army in 1971. Its design fully aligned with the traditional Soviet tank-building doctrine: compactness, ease of maintenance, high mobility, and most importantly, mass production. That's why every aspect of the T-72's design aimed to reduce production complexity without sacrificing combat effectiveness. One of the tank's key features was its automatic loading system. This was a true breakthrough that significantly reduced the crew's size, from 3 people, as was typical in most Western tanks, to just 2 in the fighting compartment, the driver and the commander. The gunner's role remained, but the loader was eliminated. The system itself was a carousel-type autoloader, located in the lower part of the turret, beneath the fighting compartment floor. It housed 22 rounds, separated into projectiles and propellant charges, which were automatically fed into the gun. This enabled a firing rate of up to 8 rounds per minute, comparable to the performance of an experienced human loader, but without a drop in tempo due to crew fatigue. The advantages of this system were clear. Reduced overall weight of the tank due to a smaller crew and more compact fighting compartment. A lower profile turret, making the tank less visible and more resistant to hits. Increased crew survivability by removing a person from the dangerous loading area during firing. However, the system also had its drawbacks. The main one was the vulnerability of the ammunition, stored in the lower part of the turret. If the armor was penetrated, the likelihood of ammunition detonation was high, often leading to an explosion and total destruction of the vehicle. This phenomenon became known by the unofficial nickname, tank fireworks, especially seen during the conflicts in Chechnya and the Middle East. The autoloader became a hallmark of Soviet and later Russian tank design. It not only helped save resources and simplify production, but also laid the foundation for future models, such as the T-80 and T-90, where this principle is still used to this day. Armament and crew of the T-72 tank. The main armament of the T-72 tank is the 125mm smoothbore gun 2A46, which provides high firepower. The gun is equipped with an autoloader, which significantly increases the rate of fire and reduces the number of crew members required. Thanks to the autoloader, the crew can fire up to 8 rounds per minute, which is a serious advantage in combat conditions. The T-72 has a crew of 3. The driver is located at the front of the hull, while the commander and gunner are positioned in the turret. This crew arrangement improves coordination and allows for effective control of the combat vehicle, even in confined spaces and under intense combat conditions. Armor and protection of the T-72 tank represent crucial elements of its battlefield survivability. Designed in accordance with the requirements of the Cold War era and the expected confrontation with technologically advanced enemy forces. The core principle behind its design was to ensure relia. The frontal armor of the T-72 is known for its high durability and multi-layered structure, which allows it to effectively withstand most anti-tank weapons, particularly early-generation models. The construction incorporates composite materials and, starting from later variants, elements of explosive reactive armor, ERA, which significantly increase resistance to shape-charged munitions. Thanks to this approach, the T-72 is capable of surviving a direct hit from a 105mm armor-piercing shell used in NATO weaponry, underscoring the high level of its frontal protection. However, the side projections and underside of the tank remain vulnerable. The thickness of the side armor is significantly lower than that of the front, as it was initially assumed that most attacks would come from the front. This makes the tank susceptible to flanking strikes, particularly from modern man-portable anti-tank guided missile systems. The underside of the vehicle is also not designed to withstand powerful explosions from below, such as those caused by mines and improvised explosive devices, IEDs, posing a serious threat in asymmetric warfare environments. Thus, the armor of the T-72 was developed with a focus on protection in head-on combat, but is less effective against threats from other directions. The evolution of modern weaponry, especially with the widespread use of ATGMs, rocket-propelled grenades, and drones, demands additional protective measures for vehicles of this class, such as active protection systems and reinforced modular armor, which have been implemented in more modern upgrades based on the T-72 platform.